What's going on, everybody? What's up, y'all? What's happening? Look, y'all, we are launching something officially today that's been in the works for some time now. That's going to help all of you be able to scale further in your career in tech, whether you're in the industry or you're someone who is not in the industry. One of the number one things that everybody is lacking right now is ongoing support when it comes to things like your resume, your interviewing, your LinkedIn, your networking in the industry, and a myriad of other things. And so, something that the Tech is New Black, is launching in collaboration with amazing recruiters and career coaches, and is being able to provide that training to you on an ongoing basis. Now, this is something that initially was just for those that are students within the Scale and Tech Bootcamp, which is the bootcamp by Tech is New Black. But we decided to also offer it for those of you who just need the career support. You know, those of you who've already done a bootcamp or a program, or those of you who are already in the industry, but you're realizing, hey, it's really competitive in the market today, and you need assistance when it comes to being able to scale into different roles. So what we're going to do on a weekly basis, everybody that's on YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, all of y'all get access to the first 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes of the education. But then after that, the recruiter or career coach who's going to be doing it right now, y'all, I'm going to introduce who we got here in a moment. I'm going to introduce who doesn't need to be introduced, but she deserves to be introduced in a moment. But after those 20 minutes, it's going to go private specifically for those that are either students in our boot camp or for those that are members. And so for those that decide you want to become a member, because again, we have an entire calendar of things that are going to be getting taught every single week, as well as you get access to our Tech Career Accelerator, not the job placement assistance. I want to be clear about that because that's something else. That's with the boot camp. But you do get access to the Tech Career Accelerator, where you get all of the other training, resources, modules, templates, things that you need to really be able to help expedite your process. That being said, for those of y'all that you decide, hey, you want more than just the 20 minutes, more than just the intro, you can click the link down below. So that way you can get access to be able to sign up and join. And you can click it. And it's, in my opinion, as soon as you get your job in tech, I would suggest you just cancel right after that. Because at that point, you've kind of, reached your goal, at least what I would believe will be your goal. So yeah, use the link down below. So that way you can get access to this on a weekly basis. But for those of you that are students in the Scale and Tech program, whether you're doing the job placement assistance with internal referrals, or if you're just doing the education part, either way, you have access to this. That being said, I'm gonna go ahead and introduce my not my co-host, the person who is hosting, because she's running the show. I'm going to introduce Shanae Urquhart. Shanae is also, she goes by Recruiter Cousin, which is her brand and her business, her service, Recruiter Cousin Consultant. And so you all can tap in with her. I know a lot of y'all know who she is already. She was literally our very first, when we first launched Tech is New Black, she was our very first podcast guest. So she's been there since our introduction, in reality, helping a lot of people get into the industry. A huge wealth of knowledge. So you all are going to be learning from a major heavy hitter. And today she's doing resume reviews and mock interviews. So make sure y'all are taking y'all's notes, y'all are paying attention. And again, everybody gets access for the first roughly 15 to 20 minutes. But after that, she's going to go private just with the internal community being able to help them out. That being said, Shanae, I'll go ahead and let you rock and do your thing.
Love it. Thank you so much. Thank you, Cyrus. I appreciate it. Hey, y'all. I hope all is well. So I always like to start with, if anyone has any questions about resumes or mock interviews. A lot of us, as whether we are titled as influencers or experts or people who have a lot of industry a lot of experience in the field, we talk at you a lot of the time. And so I like to make sure to ask if anyone has any questions regarding resume review and regarding mock interviewing, or just interviewing in general. The reason why I started to grow my brand is because I started to see a lot of people say they have final interviews and then they get really excited, and then all of a sudden after those final interviews they'll put up another status update and say that they did not get the job. And so I started to use my posts as responses to reasons as to why they may not have gotten the job. And so a lot of times people don't understand why they may not be chosen for a role. And so I like to make sure I'm trying to clarify, or making sure I clarify and or just make sure I provide as much information as to why you did not get a specific thing right, or why you may have gotten a specific thing right. So I think it's important that we start off with asking if anyone has any questions. And please understand, if you have not come to any of my sessions, I am a call and response person. So I like to make sure that my sessions are conversational. So this only works if you participate. So feel free to ask any questions in the chat. I am trying to pull up the link, the YouTube live. I can't see it for some reason, but I can see the LinkedIn live. So feel free to ask any questions. I'll find the YouTube live. For those of you who are in the Discord, feel free to ask any questions, and then we can kind of tackle some things as it relates to resume and mock interviewing. I have my mock interview, my resume template up. I also have a copy of my resume up. So that way we can kind of go through line by line so we can understand what needs to be on a resume. I want to be very clear before I share my resume that every single person's resume is going to be different. The idea behind making sure you have a good resume is making sure that it's readable and that it's compatible to an applicant tracking system. So that's really kind of the foundational part. The foundational part is do not use a whole bunch of fancy templates. The idea is making sure you are as simple as possible. It can be read and it's compatible to the applicant tracking systems that recruiters and hiring managers are using as they're reviewing your credentials for roles. I think I can see it now. So feel free to ask some questions before we actually go line by line, and that way we can ask questions along the way and we can kind of tackle questions as we go. I don't see any questions yet.
Yeah. So for those of y'all,
I think somebody's typing. No, you get it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, for those of y'all that are here, make sure you we just went live on Instagram. My bad, I didn't realize you have to go to Instagram and hit go live. So we're now live on Instagram. But for those of y'all that are on Instagram that are tuning in now, Shanae Erker, she's the founder of Recruiter Cousin Consultants, and she today is doing resume reviews and mock interviews. So she's gonna go over resumes and mock interviews for you all today. This is a service that we're doing now on a weekly basis. Y'all are going to get access for the first roughly 20 minutes of it. And then after that, it's going to go private and it'll only be accessible to the community. So make sure y'all are dropping y'all's questions in the chat so that way she can see it, so she can get to your questions. Because as soon as this is over, this is over. So if all y'all that have questions, don't ask questions to a professional, someone on a high level, make sure that y'all are dropping y'all's questions in the chat ASAP.
Love it. I know also, I want you all to keep in mind that any tips that I give today are my tips, right? So everybody's going to give different tips. Everybody's going to say something different. Please feel free to understand that you are welcome to listen to whoever works for you. I want to be very clear about that. Listen to whoever works for you. If my tips work, great. If you find another resume writer or a career coach and their tips work better, that's great too. The idea is finding the person that's right for you. And that way you have an idea of how to move forward in your career. So these are not like hard rules. These are the things that I did on my resume, some advice that I've gotten from my mentors and other career coaches, my own resume writer, that helped me kind of get through and getting over the hurdle of what I needed to do in order to be successful. So again, these are just my opinions. This is how I've gotten successful, and I just want to share the wealth. Okay, first question. Where do I submit my resume to have reviewed? You can send it to, I wonder if this works.
Yeah, I guess that's one thing I should have thought through is where people could drop their resumes.
Okay. You can send it to Recruiter Cousin Consulting, all one word, Recruiter Cousin Consulting @gmail.com, and I'll pull it up. If you don't mind me actually doing it live, then I'm more than happy to.
Consulting.
Yep. If you're trying to get into tech but have no tech experience, how do you answer the question, how how are young how huh? How are young to catch up on all? Rewrite that question for me. I don't think I understand the question. I'm going through the modules and have been hearing I'm going through the modules and have been hearing 5-hour interviews was the average process of the interviews. Um I'm not going to say that's not for all companies. I will say there is a good possibility that there could be 4 interviews, there could be 3 interviews. I can't say that that's the average because I'm not fully sure if that's the actual average. Um, but I will say that I have seen companies where they will go up to 5 interviews. So 5 hours may mean 5 1-hour interviews. So that could mean 1 hour, one individual interview, and those individual interviews are all 1 hour each. So it may not be that you're in one interview for 5 hours. Let me make that very clear. It could be that you have one interview at 1, another interview at 2, another interview at 4, and then they may change it to the next day. Another interview may be at 11 a.m. and so on and so forth. So that's going to be company specific. That's not every company. Do some recruiters or hiring managers reject people's attempt to network with them? And what are some things a person can do that would cause a recruiter or hiring manager from networking with them? Okay. So first part of the question, do some recruiters or hiring managers reject people's attempt to network with them? I'm going to say yes, but I don't think it's intentional. So the yes comes from, I am extremely busy. I cannot give you all of my time. I really want to, but I have an inbox full of people, and so my inbox is inundated, and I can't really get to every single person. So in terms of that networking part, like virtually, I do think that is not an intentional rejection in any way. Because for someone who gets a lot of messages, I can't get to all of my messages either. And people may take that as I'm not trying to network with them, but that's not the case. It could very well be that we just inundated with a bunch of people and a bunch of messages and a bunch of asks and all of that. And so it can be difficult to get to every person. And then second part, what are some things a person can do that would have caused a recruiter or hiring manager from networking with them be disrespectful? That is literally like the most foundational thing. There are some things that are extremely simple that most people forget. Common courtesy, good morning, hope all is well. That's how I start all of my messages. Hi, hope all is well. Good morning or good afternoon or good evening. I hope all is well. So when people come into my inbox and say, Shanae, I need a job, and I'll go, hi, how you doing? Right? Like literally, it's the first thing I go, hi, how you doing? Now, I'm free in terms of I'm personable. I love meeting people. It gives me energy and all of that. But I will never go over common courtesy. So that's the most foundational thing is please say hi to people when you slide into the DM. Say hi, actually greet them. Another thing that can cause a recruiter or hiring manager from networking with them is if you're trying to go directly to the hiring manager, the recruiter is not necessarily offended. It's more so if the recruiter has a good relationship with the hiring manager is going to ask the recruiter, how did the candidate treat you at the early stages of it? I've sat in many different debriefs where a hiring manager will say, Shanae, how was this person in the beginning stages of the interviewing process? What did you think of them? Because they may treat me differently. And then when they get in front of the hiring manager, all of a sudden they need to be this person who gets like put on the mask and be likable so they can get the job. So I would say just make sure you treat every person with respect as you go. Now, the flip side of that is, what if the recruiter is rude to me? Understood. The flip side of that is, what if the recruiter is rude to me? Just get through it. Now, I'm not saying that I'm excusing the recruiter's behavior in any way, shape, or form. I am not excusing their behavior. Understand that there are many recruiters who are not trying to be rude. There are many recruiters who are trying to get through every single candidate that has applied to that role. And so if they're pushing you or rushing you along, it could very well be because they're under a time crunch. The position could be being pulled. you're about to go into some type of company freeze. It's a lot of things that could happen that a recruiter is trying to get it done before the company decides to say, okay, we need to shut this position down. The recruiter is doing this, and snapping that I'm doing with my hands. The recruiter is doing this because we get credit when you all say yes. We get credit when you all sign your offer letters, or we get a verbal accept. And so we're trying to get that credit. So we're trying to push you along. It's not that we can be very transactional and trying to be personal at the same time. And that could kind of run the risk of being rude, and it's not intentional. So just get through the recruiter, be as nice to the recruiter as possible, even if you don't feel like you're getting it back, because the hiring manager will ask. And the recruiter, for somebody like me who's accountable, I may say, I was not nice to Cyrus, meaning I was rushing him. I was not like fuzzy and friendly, but he actually got through it. And for somebody like me, if I did that, I would apologize and explain why. So I would just say get through it. But those are the things that would cause a hiring manager or a recruiter from networking with them. And I think one last thing would be, if you are a stalker, I understand that there's a difference between like being proactive because you need a job, but then there are some people when I was working for Duke, there were some people that would come to me and then go to another recruiter and another recruiter and another recruiter, as if we all don't talk to each other. And it's not necessarily anything wrong with contacting multiple recruiters at the same company. It's, we need to understand if a recruiter or one of our colleagues is working with a candidate, so we don't steal that candidate away from them, because we have to make sure that we're working together, we're working as one, so that recruiter can get the credit. We don't want to keep stealing candidates from each other. That's not good business. So I would just say, don't lie. Just make sure you state who you're working with. If you are trying to get into tech but
Wait,
have
real
no,
quick. I'm sorry, real quick. I just want to interrupt you before you get to the next one. So I have to jump for my next meeting. I'm going to let you continue to run the show, Shanae. For everybody that's tuning in, that just started tuning in, Shanae is going over, as y'all see the title, she's doing resume reviews and some mock interviews a little bit later on. So make sure y'all are, completely ready for it. Have y'all's questions ready. That being said, she's doing this shortly for those that are members. Either you're a student in the Skill and Tech Bootcamp, or you are a joining member. And in order to join, all you have to do is click the link down below. You don't have to be in the bootcamp to be a member when it comes to this weekly career coaching with career coaches and tech recruiters. So where we're going to be going over everything, not just resumes, not just mock interviews, your LinkedIn, your LinkedIn, your networking, and a variety of other things to really help you all out when it comes to your transferable skills, your domain expertise, all of that sauce that y'all need to help more of y'all get in the industry. So for anyone who wants to join, all you do is click the link down below. You'll see it in the description. On Instagram, unfortunately, I don't have the automation set up. So if y'all want to join, y'all have to hop on YouTube or LinkedIn in order to get access to the link. But other than that, y'all have access to her right now. But as soon as, basically in about another 10 minutes or so, she's going to go private and will just be doing this with members and those that are in the community. Aside from that, y'all be blessed. All right, Chanel, let's do your thing.
All right. Okay, next question. Let me put it up. Do some recruiters or hiring managers reject people's attempt to... Oh, I did that one already. Sorry. If you're trying to get into tech but have no tech experience, how would you approach the question, how are you going to catch up on all the technologies that are out there? So I would just say that I would just ask you in return, Nikki, I would ask you, are you using tech right now in your job? Because if you are, there are some technologies that could be very much transferable to the roles that you're applying to. So I would just say, if you're not using any technologies, make sure you start using technologies. Start with ChatGPT and Copilot and all of the technologies that are out there, Claude AI and all of that, to make sure you are incorporating tech in your day-to-day. That's what I would do. And then I would ask you, once you do that, for the positions that you're applying to make sure that you can explain, even if I don't have direct experience with this particular technology, I have transferable skills because I've used this. So for example, one of the things that I've said in the past is I have applicant tracking systems, Apollo, Brass Ring, Success Factors, and iCIMS. I've also used LinkedIn Recruiter. That's not an official applicant tracking system. Well, I mean, some companies could use it as an applicant tracking system. That said, there are other applicant tracking systems like Smart Recruiter, Workday. I think Gemini is one of them that I haven't necessarily worked with yet. And so, and even Greenhouse haven't necessarily worked with yet. Even though I haven't worked with those applicant tracking systems, I still have iCIMS, Apollo, Brass Ring, Success Factors that I list on my resume. So I would just say to make sure you're listing what you're using now, and then speak to how you plan to transition that knowledge into the technologies that the companies are using. That's what I would do. I hope that makes sense. Any other questions? All right, let me look at Instagram before I go to the resume part. Okay, on Instagram, as someone that's in cybersecurity, there are a lot of skills in job descriptions that I try to include on my resume, but I feel if I include all of them, I will get rejected. Any advice on this? So, and so that's actually a really good question. In cybersecurity, you are right. There are a lot of skills in the job descriptions that you try to include, that you have to include, but you don't have to include all of them. I would just say include the skills that they are asking for in the minimum qualifications and the preferred qualifications, along with when you read the responsibilities, list the skills that you know you're going to use when you are exercising the responsibilities in the job description on the actual job. So if a responsibility is calling for you to use, let's say, Splunk, for example, if it's calling for you to use Splunk or Proofpoint, then I would put Splunk and or Proofpoint on your resume, even if the minimum qualifications aren't asking for it. Now, of course, make sure you list what's being asked of you on the minimum qualifications. What I will also suggest for cybersecurity professionals, what I used to see a lot of was a lot of you would put the skills at the top in the skill section or the bottom, wherever you decide to put it, would list the skills in the skill section, but you wouldn't say where you applied it in the actual jobs and the listing of the responsibilities on your resume. So if you say something as simple as you have Splunk, or you were on offense and you use the some of the terms that are offensive in the cybersecurity space, I would just say make sure you whatever term you use in the skill section, use the same term in the explanation of your job responsibilities. Because remember, recruiters are not necessarily as technical as you all are cybersecurity professionals or tech professionals. And so there are times where we have to find it, or we ask hiring managers where to find specific skills. So just in order to make it more clear, the same skills you list in your skill section, just put a little, like, put the word itself in the explanation of your job. What you can also do is, what I also saw people do was, the skill that you use at that job, you can literally put at the last bullet of the job explanation of what you did in your tasks. You can say skills used, and you can list them. So that way people understand where you use every skill. That's important because a job description may ask for 5 years of experience in, let's say, Python. You can list Python in the skill section, but we don't know if you have 5+ years of experience in it if you don't say where you use it. So you have to make sure you actually say where you applied it. What things negatively affect the applicant tracking system? So I'll repeat it. So certain things that negatively affect the applicant tracking system are resumes that are not compatible. Some of you make resumes in Canva, which I think is cool. Ain't nothing wrong with Canva. Let me be very clear. Nothing wrong with Canva. I've always told people to go back to the basics and use a Microsoft Word document. Use Microsoft Word to actually create your resume, and you can save it as a PDF. I've always seen that Microsoft Word and PDF are the most compatible of any applicant tracking system that I've seen. I've never seen people have an issue. Where I see people have an issue is where they take a resume, because some people have their resume saved on their phones. So there are times when if you take a resume that's saved on your phone, like if you have an iPhone and you know how you can save resume to files, sometimes if you try to apply to a job with the resume from files to put it inside of an applicant tracking system, the words may be all over the place, or it may show up as symbols. Because I've seen many times where I can't read a resume, so I can't tell if you meet the applicant tracking system, or if you meet the minimum qualification, excuse me. So I would just say in those cases, sometimes Canva resumes, or the if you try to apply with your phone, sometimes it can be hard to make sure to understand if it's compatible to the applicant tracking system. So go back to the basics and use Microsoft Word, and or you can save it as a PDF. And I've never had an issue with that because that's where my resumes have always been saved. So that is something that can negatively impact an applicant tracking system. Another thing that can negatively impact an applicant tracking system is if you apply to a job and it says, do you have, I don't know, 4+ years of experience in customer service? Or do you have 4+ years of experience in patient transport? If you say no, you're admitting that you don't meet the minimum qualifications for a role, which means that the applicant tracking system will most likely disqualify you because you're saying no, you don't meet the minimum qualification for a role. That can negatively affect the applicant tracking system as it relates to your candidacy. Now, if you say yes, let's say for sake of argument, I'm not telling you to lie, but let's say you do lie and you say yes, and you actually get through and you make it into the apply bin, or whatever the bin is called for the applicant tracking system. The recruiter is still going to do their due diligence to make sure you meet the minimum qualifications for the role. The hiring manager is also going to use their due diligence to make sure you have the qualifications that they're looking for to actually hire you. So I would just say, to make sure you meet the minimum qualifications for the role, I am the recruiter who will tell you you need to meet all of the basic minimum qualifications. The preferred qualifications, you don't have to touch any of them and you can still be qualified. But the basic minimum qualifications, you do have to meet those by law. So those are some things, some quick answers that can negatively impact an applicant tracking system. I'm a project manager in the healthcare and digital health space for about 8+ years, and I want to transition, but it's hard to land interviews, even though I have transferable experience. Any tips? I am assuming that you're trying to transition from a project manager in healthcare into a project manager in tech. Now, I'm going to say I'm assuming that because, oh, you said another industry. Okay. So I would have to ask Yasmin, please correct me. Which industry is that? Because the industry does matter. So I would want to know which industry, because you just said another industry, so I'm not sure. So I will come back to you. Ray Nicole, I have 3 years of experience in tech with a master's degree in tech, but I haven't been able to land my next job or interview in years. Can your program help people with tech experience? Well, what are you trying to do in tech? That's another thing. That's so going back to Demetrius's question. Demetrius, your question was, what would cause a hiring manager or a recruiter to not network? Not being clear in your questions. Now, I'm not trying to call anybody out, but that's actually a perfect example. So when people say they have experience in tech, which part of tech? Are we talking about sales? Are we talking about program manager? Are we talking about product manager? Are we talking about marketing? Are we like what data analysts and IT analysts? Like, which one are we talking about? That can, not being as specific as possible, could cause a hiring manager and recruiter to say, I don't have time for this. Let me go move on to somebody who actually is a little bit more clear. So the person who asked that, re-asked or put it in the comment, which part of tech, and then we can come back to it. Where can you search for remote jobs? On my Instagram, I've posted a reel that has a whole bunch of job boards on it. Go to my Instagram. It's not too far down. It's a reel. I have 2 of them, and they're recent. They're within the last 2 weeks. One of them is a list of all of the conferences that are happening that are left for 2025 that I could find. And then in the comments, there are some people um, who listed more conferences where I couldn't fit all the conferences in the reel. And then on the other video, I actually listed a whole bunch of job boards that you could use in order for you to find a remote role. Not all of the job boards are not all of the job boards are remote friendly, but there are a lot of them that are remote friendly. They're also not in order of like success rate. I just listed them, just FYI there. But they're on my IG, and they're on my LinkedIn. For those of you who are on LinkedIn, go to my featured posts, and they're on my LinkedIn. Okay, let's go. How can someone nope, don't understand the question. Does the email provided help with checking with resumes? Yeah. So Cyrus put my email up there, and now please understand, if y'all send me this, y'all send me a whole bunch of resumes, I'm not gonna get to everybody, just FYI. But I'm more than happy to give some quick tips. But I'm not gonna get to everybody. But I'm gonna do one like live. I'm gonna actually present my screen, and then I'm going to do one live so that we can kind of go to it. Yasmin. Okay, cool. I want to stay in the tech industry, but within a different focus, like creative or entertainment PM or marketing PM. Okay. So your original question was, I've been a project manager in the healthcare space and healthcare and digital health space for about 8+ years, and you want to stay in tech. You want to stay in tech, and you're having a hard time landing interviews. Okay. So I will tell you, it is not you. I want to be very clear. It is not you. PM in any discipline is like really hard to stand out, and that's just because of the number of people who are PMs. So there are a bunch of PMs in the world, project, program, product, and it could just be hard to stand out. I would say, in order for you to stand out, if you haven't already, and excuse me if I'm scratching my face, my pollen is everywhere at this point, so excuse me if I'm scratching my face. If you want to try and stand out, I tell everybody, get from behind your computer and try to see if you can get to some local or national conferences. So I know all of you know about Afrotech. I know all of you know about Render ATL. I know all of you know about Black Tech Week in Cleveland or in Ohio. I know a lot of you know about GovTechCon that's coming up with Simone Bees in September. I know all of you know about the Thrive Conference with Black Men in Tech, Dreaming in Color. All of those conferences again are listed on my reels on my LinkedIn. I would say go to those, along with go to Eventbrite and find any like tech related local event to see if you can network with some people there. I have sent people to networking events. People have come back and said that they actually met a hiring manager and they were able to get hired just because they would actually met the hiring manager in person, not knowing that person was a hiring manager. So I would just say, virtually, if it's not working, try to get to as many in-person events as possible. There's also one in Houston. I think it's in Houston. It's called Black is Tech in August. That's also an option too. Okay, going back to, Ray Nicole, you said your answer is information technology. Okay, I'm just gonna go back and reread your original question. I have 3 years of experience in tech with a master's degree in tech, but I haven't been able to land my next job or interview in years. Can your program help people with tech experience? Yeah. So I give everybody this parent-child method where they can kind of find a bunch of companies that they may not know exist, because you could very well be looking at companies that are really popular that everybody else is applying to. So maybe if you try and find roles at companies that are not as big, that could possibly be an option as well. Also, the job market is just a mess. Like, everybody's on the market at this point. So if you don't have a job, the last 3 years, the job market has been tough. So I would just say I know it's probably like you don't want to hear this anymore, but keep at it. But yeah, there are people, myself, Cyrus, we do help people get jobs in a very tough market. It is very possible. You just got to find the right people to help you. But yeah, to answer your question, the program does help with trying to help you land interviews and offers. Now, I will say when it comes to booking me, I never guarantee anything. I do give you a structure, and I will tell you up front, it will take some time. Getting in front of the right people will take some time, but to keep at it and to have a structure just gives people the pathway that they need in order for them to be successful. It is possible. It just takes a little bit. Okay. I got to get to resume reviews. All right. I'm going to try this because I don't think I've ever tried to share my screen using StreamYard, but we're going to see how this goes. Let's see. Shantez, if you still here, I got your resume. I'm going to try to do this without sharing, because your phone number is in your phone number and your email is on here, which is a problem because that is a security issue. So just FYI, some companies will not be able to, and this is for all of you to know, if you give your resume to a recruiter or hiring manager, there are some companies in the world that will not actually share your resume email to email and company email to company email. They would prefer to look at your email inside of an applicant tracking system because it's secure, where email to email is not as secure. So, and that's not as secure because your resume has PII and short and long personal identifiable information on it. So I'm going to try and share this without showing your personal identifiable information. That includes your name, of course, and then your phone number as well as your email address. And your mailing address can also be personal identifiable information. Good thing you do not have it on here, but it is considered personal identifiable information. Okay. Let's see if this works. Nope, that doesn't work. Oh, share screen. I hit the wrong option. 2 monitors. Okay. We're going to do this resume. Okay. Please tell me, Demetrius, can you see this? Can you see the screen? You can't see the resume? Okay, I can see it on Instagram and on LinkedIn. That is interesting that you can't see it because I can see it. Can you try to switch over to Instagram people? Can y'all see this resume? I can see it on my Instagram. I just want to make sure y'all can see it too. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a reaction. Give me something. I see it. Okay, cool. But it's zoomed out. Okay. Better? You see it now? That better? Oops, not that way. Okay, that better? Okay. Okay, cool. Yay. Okay. This is the first time I've ever done this on StreamYard, so this is great. Okay. I'm learning as I go. This is great. Okay. So let's see. So the first thing that I saw, I scrolled down a little bit just so y'all can't see this person's personal identifiable information. Clearly his name is there because his LinkedIn is there. So that's cool. So the first thing that I would suggest in your contact information is and y'all, my screen is over here. So if I'm not looking at the camera, that's why. So the first thing I would suggest, Shantez, and please tell me if I'm saying your name right, because I'll be butchering people's names and I don't like when people butcher mine. So please let me know. So Shantez, the first thing I would say is to change your actual LinkedIn, like the entire URL, change it to a hyperlink. So that way it's just a quick link. So that way people don't have to copy and paste your link from your resume into the URL inside of the browser. Just do a hyperlink so it's like a quick click. So that way it's just easier. So okay, I love that he has a summary. Some people have that they have a summary, like a professional summary and a career objective. You do not need both. There are some people, some career coaches now saying you don't even need a career objective. A summary works fine. So customer success manager with 5 years of experience in customer service operations and sales engineering, specializing in customer onboarding, relationship building, and process optimization, proven track record of increasing product adoption by 40% and improving service delivery times by 20%, skilled in implementing RPA and data-driven strategies to enhance customer engagement and satisfaction, seeking to leverage expertise in a customer success manager role. Okay, perfect. I like that. I would say, let me go back because I did say perfect. I would say seeking to leverage expertise in a customer success role to do what? What are you trying to what are you trying to say your impact lies? That's the only part I would add. Other than that, it's fine. It reads perfectly fine. I would just say seeking to leverage expertise in a customer success manager role to do what? Or I'm looking to leverage my expertise in what to land my next customer success role. So where does your impact lie? What impact or expertise are you bringing to your next customer success role? I know you said that you have experience in service operations and sales engineering, specializing in customer onboarding and relationship building and all of that. Clearly you're bringing that into your next customer success role. What other expertise are you saying that you can leverage in order to bring to a customer success role? This reads perfectly fine, but if you want to be a little bit more specific in the last sentence, that's also fine too. If you want to leave it that way, that's actually fine too. It could just read better just from a last sentence perspective. But I actually like the summary all up. Okay. So here's where it gets a little tricky. Customer service operations representative. When we're talking about going into a customer success manager role, I think what's going to give recruiters and hiring leaders pause is when you don't have a customer success manager title and you're trying to go into a customer success manager role. Now, I understand that we're in a customer success operations representative. If you, and I've heard an HR professional say this as well, and she said it recently. If you are a customer success operations representative, but what you're doing is actually a customer success manager, it's okay to put in parentheses customer success manager. Because sometimes different companies call different titles different things. And it could very well be that you are a customer success manager. It just at Humana, it may be called customer success operations representative. So if you want to put CSM or customer success manager, that's okay. Lead the onboarding of 100 new customers, achieving 95% satisfaction rating through tailored integration plans that drive a 30%. Okay, great. Direct customer success initiative, resulting in a 20% improvement in service delivery times and a 30% reduction in operational costs. Implement robotic process automation, enhancing. Okay. So this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for, okay, skills. That's what I was looking for. Just word of advice. I will put your skills section up here. So summary, and then right under summary, put skills. So that way, like your skills just pop out. So put skills under the summary part, and then your work experience. Customer success strategy and management, customer onboarding and implementation, relationship building, change management, process optimization, technical support. Okay, okay. I was looking for RPA, and then you have RPA, which is great. I love that you used it here. I would say lead the onboarding of 100 plus. You don't have to say over 100. Just say lead onboarding of 100 plus new customers. And then this is just really quick, y'all, because I have to go on to the next person. Relationship building and stakeholder advocacy. So what are the actual customers? Like, what are the customers? So we see the impact, but what's the level of customer? Are we talking about like small business? Are we talking about, because Humana is huge. So are we talking about like big business to big business or business to business? Are we talking about so B2B, B2C? What are we talking about? What type of stakeholder? I'm not asking you to name the customer. I'm asking for are we talking about enterprise? Are we talking about startup? Are we talking about individual? I would just be a little bit more specific there. Okay, I have to stop. But that's just some quick feedback. And I have to get off of Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube and only go to the Discord per my instructions. So for those of you who want more feedback, I would just say to the information, it should be in the description. Feel free to go to the description to sign up for the Discord, so that way you're getting these once a week, so you can get some quick feedback. But more than happy to chat along the way. And if you want to contact me to book some time, more than happy to do that too, so that yeah, we can get that done. Also, these are really, really cool to do since Cyrus is having experts come once a week. So please feel free to get into these sessions. It's really important that that y'all get into these sessions. Give us the Discord link, please. Or do you mind giving us the Discord link? I think that's a nicer way to say that, right, Demetrius? I see you laughing. I think that's a nicer way to say that. Do you need I need the Discord link. Do you mind giving it to me? Sure, why not? Let me see if I can find it. Because it should be in the if y'all can see it. I just can't see certain things. So if y'all can see the Discord link, feel free to put it in there. It should be in the description though. Let's see. Let's go on YouTube. Or what you can do is go to Cyrus's Instagram. Please and thank you, because they're the magic words. You're welcome. I have to find it for y'all because I don't know. He didn't give it to me. Let me see if I can find it. Give me a second. And then Demetrius and y'all, I'm coming. I promise. Oh, did you share it? Is that what this is? Is that the link? Is that the plan? Did I put it up right? But yeah, but I gotta try to find the. Oh, you're welcome, Jennifer Doris. Of course. Let me see. Give me a second. I'm trying to get the Discord link for y'all. Give me a second. I'm gonna come off my Instagram to see if I can find it before I log off, because this is some good stuff and I don't want y'all to miss this. Career Accelerator. Okay, how about this? I'm going to give you all the link to the Tech is the New Black website, and that way you can have the informationes. Okay, let's see. Nope. So go to, I'll put it in the chat. Tech is the new Blizzak.kizom. Okay, so for people on IG, I put techisthenewblack.com. And then for those of you who are on LinkedIn, just go to techisthenewblack.com. And that way, this is the link I use from the Discord to join. Oh, let me see if I can't copy this. Demetrius, can you email that to me? Can you email that to recruitercousinconsulting@gmail? I feel like I'm putting you to work. I'm sorry. I just can't, I can't copy it. Or you can put it in the private chat. It just won't allow me to copy it. My computer is doing me dirty. It's so slow. Oh, y'all sent me a lot of resumes. I'm gonna go through these resumes too. It's gonna take me a little bit, but I'm gonna go through them. Okay. Okay. I'll have oh, thank you. Okay, the Discord's in there. The link. The takeover is in there. Okay, y'all. I'm going off and doing just the Discord community. Thank you all so much for joining. If you have any questions, let me know. Feel free to follow me on Instagram and TikTok and LinkedIn and all the places. All the things, all the places. Okay. Remove.